but particularly for block-assisted language learning. So previous research has mainly been focused on learners' attitudes and perceptions, but not the assessment of such language learning. And also we wanted to look at how block writing was on its own terms, rather than to use a different yardstick that's usually used to assess writing. And our aim was to inform our own teaching and to enable more targeted methods of addressing problems students face. So over the course of a 14-week semester, learners were asked to write 4 blog posts at different time points before the course started. There's a pre-course, twice in the course, mid-course 1 and mid-course 2, and at the end of the course. The blog posts were then rated by experience raters, and then they were analyzed using core metrics. Just to give the context of the course, the purpose of the course were to prepare students to communicate effectively in the workplace, to deliver oral presentations, write purposeful business correspondence, and to engage in interpersonal and intercultural communication. So, and the prompts for the blog posts were to explain the value of effective communication skills, describing an interpersonal conflict scenario, evaluating an intercultural encounter, and reflecting on course learning. So over the course of a few semesters, we had 416 different blog posts on the same essay topics. So what we wanted to find out was how the indices of linguistic complexity relate to the assessment of human raters, and how did the reflective writing among the learners develop over the course of the whole semester, as reflected by the indices of linguistic complexity. To do this, basically, we use co-metrics to generate the scores for the various linguistic indices. This is a screenshot of the interface. It's very simple to use. You just copy and paste your text, and then you'll get a whole bunch of rating for the linguistic indices. And then we compared this to the raters rating, which is on a 4-point scale from 1 is poor and 4 is exceptional. And to make sure our ratings were reliable, the posts were double marked, and a third marker resolved any disagreements. We then used many facet rush measurement to validate the scores. So to answer the first question, comparing the automated ratings with the human ratings, we use automatic linear modeling to predict the effects of which linguistic variable basically is affects how highly a post is scored by the human raters. So while the raters give a holistic mark, we also wanted to look at the linguistic complexity that was produced by the students. So besides comparing the co-matrix indices to the ratings, we also look at progression over time, basically using ANOVA on 6 of the 8 text easyability principle scores. So we chose these scores because it was found that in general, these scores were well aligned with theories of text and discourse comprehension. So given the text type, we use at indices particular to narrativity, syntactic simplicity, and the various ones related to cohesion. And what we found was that these were the primary variables with high predictive power. So select's frequency for all words is the average word frequency based on word frequency counts from the co-built corpus, basically. And this index can be considered a proxy for students' vocabulary repertoire. So the lower the index suggests the use of less frequently occurring words, therefore extended vocabulary knowledge. So such posts are rated higher than those with more frequently occurring words. We also found that longer posts with less paragraphs tend to be rated higher by human raters, while for content overlap, word overlap, well, this basically is how words relate to each other. So the more relevant the words are to the topic, the higher they are rated by the human raters. And these indices are also related to coherence and cohesion, as well as the next one, which is the text easyability statistics. So overall, we found that human raters judge more cohesive blog posts as being better, but not through using connectors per se, but by using word choice. as we can see from the content word overlap. So for the second research question, how students progressed, what we found was that there were significant differences over time on narrativity. As we can see here, narrativity, referential cohesion, deep cohesion, and syntactic simplicity. So these are the indices in which students have actually shown progress over time. So what does this actually mean for our teaching? It's nice and all to see all those numbers, but what does that actually mean for our teaching? So what we found was that actually the importance that is placed both by the human raters and the scores given by the indices, that we actually, students should move beyond using just frequent words, but they should, at the same time, while they use less frequently used word, expand their vocabulary repertoire, they should also use more specific words to the topic at hand. So it's not just a matter of using rare words, it has to be pertinent to the topic. And this actually helps in developing coherence through word choice. So not just to use connectors all the time, but also to use, to develop coherence by the specificity of their word choice. Finally, we also found that paragraphing skills are very important, because you don't want too many little paragraphs. You want to have a nice, coherent piece of writing that shows, and this is shown through actually being able to produce accurate paragraphs, to stop at the right time and to start at a different point in next paragraph. Okay, so that's the end of our presentation, and I guess the questions will come later. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Azrifa. Okay, for the question, probably if you guys have a question, you can put it on the chat column, and then we will discuss after all the presentation. Okay, now I'm going to welcome the next speaker. The next presenter, Asnawi Muslim. Okay. It is about the impact of authentic media YouTube through peer support on improving students' mastery of English language teaching method course. Okay, so for Asnawi Muslim, time is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Khairun Nisa, for the times, and this is the second presenters of this very good moment. Once again, thank you very much. Now I'd like to start my presentation entitled The Impacts of Authentic Media YouTube Through Peer Support on Improving Students' Mastery of English Language Teaching Method. What we have conducted in the fields, of course, we start firstly by reviewing some literature review and then observe in the field what happened. So English language has been taught for a long time in Indonesia, and we also have used various methods of teaching to teach the subject. However, the quality of students to use English is still insufficient. It can be seen that after graduating from the university or from the school, they had to speak English well. So improving student mastery on English subject is a must. So that's why we need to conduct this research. Lectures qualification should be also improved so that to increase student quality. Lecturers still use dominantly traditional way in teaching. So in this case, you try to use media as an essential role in the teaching and learning process. Media can replace teachers' role in the classroom. Media like YouTube can be used to teach student course. So these are the background of our study that we have done. So stepping from that, so we try to conduct a research. And the method that we use in this before that, I'd like to, this is the objective of our study. Firstly, to investigate the impact of using authentic media, YouTube through peer support on improving student mastery of English language teaching method. And the second one, to investigate the student motivation in learning the subject after they are taught by using authentic media YouTube through peer support. See, those are the objective of our study. And the literature review, we start from the technology. So our study related to using technology in teaching. So a lot of previous study have been conducted by the researchers in terms of using technology in teaching or to improve students' knowledge or student mastery of language of English. And the method that we use quantitative. So we conducted an experimental teaching. The existing class was taken as a participant of the study that consisted of 30 undergraduate students. This is the only one class, so we don't use any comparison classes, what we call that experimental and control group. So we use only one group, so to see the difference between pre-test and post-test. So in the context of that group, so only one group. And then the study employ quantitative approach to analyze the data. We use statistically, like mean score, standard deviation, and also to see the student motivation. In term, we use the survey to get the student motivation, and then we also analyze that data using percentage. So the instrument that we use, test, the pre-test and post-test, and a set of questionnaire related to student motivation in learning the subject by using the media.
Sorry, wait.
Okay, then we can see the result of the finding. It has been proved that the use of authentic media YouTube with peer support improves student mastery of English language teaching course significantly. So we just compare between the pre-test and post-test after doing a single experimental to a single group. And also the second research question, it has proved that the use of authentic media YouTube with peer support was also improve students' motivation in learning the English language teaching method significantly. Therefore, this media can be used to improve student mastery of the subject matter. So it can be concluded that the use of authentic media YouTube with peer support improves student mastery of English language teaching method course significantly, and the use of authentic media YouTube with peer support was also improve the student motivation in learning the English language teaching method course significantly. Therefore, we suggest the teachers or the lecturers to use this media to improve the student mastery of the subject matter. It can be have double beneficial of using this method. Firstly, the student will get the native speaker from the YouTube that we downloaded, and also they can improve their English or their speaking skill or also listening. So that's the conclusion. So the limitation of the study, we can say that the study involved only one class student that consisted of 30 students. So therefore, for the next research recommended, use two classes to see the difference between the two classes, experimental or control group. It also suggested to use this media not only language teaching method course, but also for other subjects. Well, I think that's all that I can tell you in this very good moment. Thank you very much for your attention. I say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for a nice presentation as now Muslim. And we will continue to the next presenter. It is Tri Eko Agustiningrum. Is there any tree here? Let me check. Okay. I'm not sure there is any tree echo here. Okay. Yeah, before that, there is a question for Pak Asnawi, but later on we will discuss after the presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe Pak Asnawi can close first the share screen.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Pak. Next, Adi Sifa Muhammad. Is there any Adi here? Or maybe the representative? No? What about Monica Carolina Sianturi? There's no also. Andrea Bensik. Okay. Herni Yuniarti Suhandi. Not here. Emawati Emma. Also not here. Edwin Nuruldian Shah. No. Miok Tiesi. Okay, I am not sure there are still, what is that? The other presenters, because it's only 7 participants. And the other, probably the participants, not the presenters. So yeah, while waiting for the others, we can discuss about the questions that we have in chat. In chat column. Okay, this is for Pak Asnawi Muslim or, oh sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Pak. This is for question for Azlifa. Azlifa binti Zakaria. The questions from L.A. Prihandoko. It is a very interesting topic. Could the automatic writing system be developed for assisting research article of thesis writing for students? Please give me a suggestion what kind of systems that suit for the purpose. Thank you. So
yes. Right. Thank you very much for the questions. Very good question, I think. So if I can suggest you that it is can be used, it can be used that this authentic media YouTube to improve for student, or it can be as one of the article that can be published in the article in the international journal. So this article, this result of study has been sent to international journal, but now we are waiting for the review from the reviewers. Yeah, so it can be used to or your student can also be used this as their thesis or their thesis to write as their thesis. Yeah, so not only for the rating the student mastery of subject, but it can also be used as another subject to improve their knowledge there. Especially we use this especially for that we know that English in Indonesia as a foreign language, not as like in Singapore, they use English outside the classroom, but in here we only use English in the classroom. So it is very helpful when we use that kind of media to improve their skill, like speaking and listening. Yeah, they usually listen traditional way of teaching from their lectures. So this time we try to insert, we try to include the media YouTube that presented by native speaker. Yeah, so that's we can rate the students' knowledge and student performance in terms of speaking and subject mastery. You get it, Zakia? Zakaria.
all right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Pak Asnawi Muslim. Now we go to Miss Zakaria. I'm going to repeat again the question. Okay, from your perspective, it is a very interesting topic. Could your automatic writing system be developed for assisting research article of this writing for students? And please give suggestion. Probably there is a system that we can use and it suit for that purpose.
Basically, the limitations of the core matrix is that you have very limited number of words, so it's only for very short texts. I think about 300 words, if I'm not mistaken. you can use, like, for a sample, maybe like the abstract of the research article, or you can do it multiple times, obviously. But of course, you won't be able to get the cohesion of the whole article. So for that, Christopher Kyle has developed longer ones, but yeah, Coolmatrix has the advantage of being validated before that. You could also alternatively form maybe a corpus of your students' writing, and there are a lot of freely available software like Wordsmith tools, and also NCONG if you want to see whether your students have developed in terms of vocabulary and things like that. So you can just form a simple word list and compare that word list from the start of the semester to the end of the semester.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for Ms. Zakaria. Maybe Pri Handoko, is that clear enough? Or you want to give the other question? Okay, so it means that, all right, you're welcome. Now, still no more presenters come to join to this room, what is that, to this link of Zoom. Yeah, probably there are some question from you.
Yeah.
And yeah, hi Fahid.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm very well. Yeah.
Good to see you.
Do you have a question or suggestion to the presenters?
No, I enjoyed listening to the presenters. Thank you.
All right. Continue. Yeah, we still have one more question here. This is for Pak Asnawi.
Yeah. Okay, so I understand the question. Yeah.
No,
Firstly,
oh yeah, you have read it already. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So firstly, we use that media in the classroom, because before pandemic COVID-19, so came to our country, and we use media YouTube in the classroom by showing on the slide, and then the student watch the YouTube, the video, and then afterward they discuss with the friends to what actually has been discussed in the video. But during the pandemic COVID-19, so we cannot come to the class, so we send the video to our student via Zoom or via WhatsApp. They can watch that video with their friend, because we have assigned their peer to discuss after watching the video outside the classroom, either at home or anywhere. So after that, they discuss with their friend, and then they also send the result of discussion to my email so that we can discuss together with our student. That's what we did during the conducting the research. I think I answered the question.
Sorry. Thank you for Pak Asnawi's answer. Yeah. How is it, Esther? Do you still have a question? All right. Thank you. Yeah. Any more response or question or maybe suggestion for the presenters?
Yes, I have a question to Zakaria. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, so are you still there,
Yes,
Zakaria?
I'm still here.
Yes.
Azrifa. Yeah. Zakaria has been started.
Zakaria, yeah. So it is quite interesting your topic actually, how actually you teach your student, how you improve your students' communication for workplace. Yeah, so this is very interesting because my question, how actually you conducted the way of communication to prepare them to be able to speak at work places. How actually you conducted that in the classroom, or is there something new ways that you conducted? Because we also learn about that. You understand what I mean?
Yes, I do. I think maybe Dr. Wahid might want to answer that because he's one of the
Yeah.
author of the paper.
Okay, thanks for the question. Just to make sure that I understand your question correctly, can I ask you to repeat that question again, please?
Yeah, how actually you undertake the way of communication in the classroom to prepare your student for communication in the workplace?
Okay, to make them ready for workplace.
Yes.
That's a $1 million question, and really that's a very important question. Before answering that question, let me preface my answer by saying that in Singapore, from what I know, that's a very important criteria. Yeah. And I know that some studies have been done to compare the soft skills of students, for example, science students or business students at the university and in the workplace, to see if what they pick up at the university is of any help or of any use when they enter the workplace. And I think one of the studies, if I'm not wrong, found that unfortunately a great number of students, even though they're great minds and they're wonderful in their field, they're not well equipped with soft skills like communication skills, let's say. Yeah. Now, how do we do this? I think like I said, that's a $1 million question, because we have been thinking that the methods we use in education are preparing students for the workplace, but in fact, like I said, some research shows otherwise. How do we do this? I think the answer has to do with the question of authenticity. Earlier, as Rifa and I were talking about authenticity. So authenticity is what you teach in the classroom should reflect the situation in the real life world. If we teach a bunch of fancy skills that have no use in the real life situations, then that teaching has no authenticity. So in my opinion, I would say that you have to define the skills that students need in the real world first, to have a very clear idea what they will need in the real world. So that needs some sort of needs analysis. Experts should really do that needs analysis in the first place. Then based on that needs analysis, you can define your curriculum and put a focus on both teaching and assessing of those skills to make sure that the students who enter the program
social media campaigns with
are at what level with respect to those skills. And by the time when they exit the program, how much expertise and proficiency they have developed in those skills. And of course, I would say that if you afford it, you should do follow up, because you want to trace your students to see if the skills that they have learned in your curriculum can really help them in their future career. So you have to go into the organizations in which students have started to work and look into their performance and compare their performance with their colleagues in terms of the skills that you have taught them, to figure out whether the skills that they picked up in your class or in your curriculum made any difference in their future life. If they didn't make any difference, then I'm afraid we have to redesign the pedagogy in some ways. I mean, I understand this is a very expensive project, but if you want to do it seriously, I think this is one of the ways that would be useful.
All right.
All right.
Okay. May I know how actually you ask your student to communicate? Yeah, whether let's say students are using communication for factory workers. So did you take your student to the factory to have a real situation so that they can communicate, or just in the classroom you talk and you give the simulation or showing the place where the factory? But I mean, did you actually bring or take the student to the field so that they can really understand this is the way how we communicate in the factory, this is the way how we communicate in the hotel, this is the way how we communicate in the booking ticket counter? So something like that, what I mean.
So is that a question for me or anybody else?
Yeah, I just share the ideas, whether you conduct as I taught you just now.
Right, a good question too. Well, I would probably start from simulation in the classroom.
Yeah.
And that would include a range of activities, including role playing in the first place. And definitely, as you mentioned, using videos.
Yeah.
Videos that expose students to those situations in which the language is used. For example, a factory, at receptionist office, at receptionist desks, etc. So I would like to engage students in that activity exactly because there is a theory called action theory, and basically the whole idea of action theory is that we learn through doing rather than learn just through listening or watching something. So we have to engage students in doing that thing. The first step, as you said, is simulation. And if you really afford to take your students out to see a real life situation in a hotel or in a receptionist office, etc., that would be wonderful. And even better than that, if they could do internships in those places, for example, affiliate them, I don't know, as a part of an attachment program in which they can use the skills that they have learned at school and even hone and sharpen them. I think that will be the best because you really puts them in the right situation and demands them to use the skills for real life purposes. It's not some fancy simulation anymore when they're doing the internship. They have to do that, use that skill, and they have to use it correctly. So putting them under those circumstances would be the best thing that a teacher could do.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Fahid.
Thank you.
When I see your name, Fahid, I remember my student. One of my students was named Fahid from Turkey.
All right. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. So I'm Iranian, and Turkey and Iran are neighbors. So I'm not surprised to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'll go back.
By the way, you might want to visit our YouTube website. I leave it here for you because you earlier were talking about YouTube. We have a bunch of YouTube.
Very good. Yeah, just leave the link so that I can see.
Nice.
Okay. Very good.
I just left it here in the chat box.
Yeah.
Okay, it's already in chat box.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, thank you for nice answers, Fahid. And yeah, still there are no more presenter again. So I think if there's no, if you still have any discussion for this parallel session, I'm still here for you to provide you space for having the communication, the discussion. But if there's no more question and suggestion for you guys, probably we will close this parallel session. Any more question?
Because only 2 presenters, I think.
The participants here, they are, here. One more is coming.
Okay.
It's me. I'm not sure it's the presenter.
Me as the audience.
Okay, because the name is not in this, belongs to this session. So thank you very much for your nice presenters, for Mr. Asnawi Muslim and also Ms. Azira Binta Zakaria. Before we close this session, I will invite you first to have the picture together, us here. Yes, can you guys turn on the cameras so then we can have the picture? Yeah. All right, wait. Okay, give your smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3 again. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, wait. I have to close this one by saying what? Okay, I'm going to remind you first for all the presenters. After this parallel station, you have to attend the next in the link before for the keynote speakers. So we still have the third and also the fourth keynote speakers at 3:30. So you can join again to the link before. Yeah. And then in the panel session for keynote speakers, you will get the attendance list link and also the certificate link. So you can attend for that panel session and fill the Google form for the certificate and also attendance. Okay, once again, thank you very much for nice attention, also your discussion in this occasion. Yeah, let me close this meeting. See you again in the next occasion. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much.
Salam.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, anytime.